Aries 4, two lovers strolling. On one level, the message here is that the pursuit of joy, self-interest, and so on is a perfectly legitimate aspect of our spiritual development. And this goes against mainstream society's sort of attitude that too much selfishness is a bad thing, and the Christian teaching of self-abnegation, denying what we want because it's not in keeping with whatever moral principles or the needs of the community and so on and so forth. That teaching, of course, has its place, but it's gone too far. Self-interest is programmed very deeply into us. It is not unnatural to want what we want, to desire what we desire. And some people would say that as long as you don't hurt anyone else, go for what you want. Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't matter very much to concern whether you hurt somebody else, as long as you're behaving authentically, personally. That other person has the right to be hurt if they choose to be hurt, and the need to develop strength if your being who you are actually imposes upon them. That's how it is. It would be a shame if we all curtailed ourselves and made ourselves smaller in case somebody else couldn't take who we are. Now, I absolutely understand how controversial this is, and yet I stand by it. I want to be all of who I am and let other people work around that. That's how I feel to be. Now, of course, I would do everything in my power to be sensitive to the needs of another, and never to intend bullying or harming or whatever. Of course, that goes without saying, I hope. But the idea that I should make myself small so that somebody else can avoid their own discomfort, well, that betrays my core belief in life of free will, that we all actually choose what we get. And if somebody else chooses to get in my way, well, that might be an uncomfortable experience for them. Might be a learning experience for both of us. But whatever, it's not okay for me to pretend that I'm less than what I am. And I think I'm given permission within this degree to be more than my parents wanted me to be, and that certain society pressures want me to be. However, this is my Jupiter. I have Jupiter in Aries, and that's what Jupiter and Aries people are like. I met with other people once on an astrology camp, all of whom had Jupiter in Aries. We were studying that group, and we all found ourselves arrogant. We all found ourselves absolutely too confident, and so on. And somebody said, Jupiter in Aries, 0 to 100% confidence in 10 seconds, you know. So take this into account. But I think this wisdom is deeper than just doing what you choose to do and let other people work around that. I think it has to do with the mystery of duality. The two lovers, implied in this is a balance between male and female principles, and the possibility of internalizing that balance is indicated in this degree. The wisdom that we have to embrace is that a part of us is projecting, is assertive. We act upon the world and the people in our world. And a part of us is responsive, receptive, passive, just sort of going along with the flow of things. Now, these two parts, both of which have their own special beauty and exaltation, they're brought to an even higher state of being when in marriage to each other, good, equal marriage, each being aware of the other, sensitive to the other, both becoming bigger, better, fuller than what they were before they met, before they formed that level of rapport. And the the idea of being able to develop that inner sense of a balance in polarity is given to us through relationship, through one-to-one relationship. So our yearning to find a mate, that powerful urge of Cupid to have babies, is one thing. This will get us into sexual relationship, no question. Keep the species alive, that's what it's for. This is going beyond that. It's saying it's not enough to choose a mate that you can have children with, nor even form economic partnership with in order to pay the mortgage, nor even to form a partnership of child minding and child raising. All of that is implied within the Cupid aspect of relationship. We're going beyond that. We're saying that relationship itself is a spiritual experience. It is hard to know how anyone could access this inner truth of polarity unless it is first by externalizing part of it. And we do that by projecting who we are upon our partner. So typically we will hold them responsible for some of the problems that actually are our own. Also, we'll praise them, we'll glorify them for qualities that actually are our own. And this sense of putting it out there onto the partner is the tried and tested, and probably the only fulfilling way, shall we call it, of being able to see that part of yourself which otherwise would remain hidden. I think we have to remember that astrologers study the descendant. That's the opposite of the ascendant. The descendant is the place of shadow, whereas the ascendant is how we see the world. The descendant is that bit which we cannot see, the shadow that is cast by our presence. Now, the descendant is also the place which indicates one-to-one relationship. It's the cusp, isn't it, of the 7th house. So the descendant is the exact point of one-to-one relationship. Now, for these two things to be aligned identically, the shadow and the one-to-one relationships, this is a profound wisdom in astrology, very profound. I've not seen it anywhere else. So what we're doing with the studying of our involvement with a one-to-one partner is seeing the part of us which has been unconscious projected onto them and thereby become available for our witnessing. It is true, of course, that in the beginning we don't know that. We see them and we think that they've got the problem. And those of us that would look deeper and try and see that actually all of this is mine, every single event in life is mine, it's my doing, it's my creation. Therefore, my partner's behavior towards me is an aspect of what I am and who I am. So if the partner is behaving badly, or whatever you want to call it, it's not their fault. It's your fault. I'm not saying you're to blame for that. I want to distinguish between those two words. Fault is not blame. They're two different things. So fault is imperfection. So when your partner behaves imperfectly towards you, that is an aspect of your own imperfections. And if you want to change the behavior of your partner towards you, then you really have to change yourself inwardly, deeply and fully and forever for it to be effective. That's the wisdom here. Now, these two lovers are strolling along the lane, presumably happy, joyful. This is the gift that we get when we are able to balance within ourselves the polarities of male and female energies. We feel we can stroll through life. We just take it as it comes. If something needs doing, we do it in an assertive way. If something needs accepting, we accept it. If we need to accommodate something or change according to something, we do that. We can just stroll through life, bringing out the necessary. And we don't dominate the male or dominate the female aspect of our internal energies. because that doesn't bring joy. What brings joy is when they're equal in balance, but not stagnant in that. The balance is a dynamic one. First him, then her. First masculine energies, then feminine, or the reverse. But they change in their own rhythm over time. So Aries 4, two lovers strolling. Get your inner polarities right, and life's a breeze.